We play for keeps, Cuddy. You ain't heard about the huddle fire with no with D-Lane. We tryna get it off the muscle. Walters caught the pick and ran it back without a tussle. Blow the whistle, coach is trying to get back to the huddle.
Welcome to the 510 Huddle Podcast. It's your boy, Coach D Lane. I'm in the building with my guy, my brother, Keaton McCoy. How you doing this evening, brother?
Doing fine, brother. And how are you doing?
Doing solid, man. Cannot complain. I really cannot complain because we got a great week of football ahead of us. Just finished week 12. We're going to give you a little bit of recap, but really got some topics and stuff we want to talk about. And I think we'll probably end off, if we got time, with just talking about these weekend's games, man, because we got some of the best matchups probably all season right here. All right. Give me 1 second. Let's start here, brother. Let's talk Michigan. I'm gonna let you introduce it. Go ahead and talk, recap Michigan, Ohio State for me.
Not much. I mean, I'm a huge Buckeye fan, but I would like to say that I'm a very objective Buckeye fan. Very simple game. Uh, it wasn't as bad as last year in terms of just us being out physical. I just thought we got out coached. Our lack of talent and depth in the secondary outside of Denzel Burke showed again for the second straight year. Honestly, we haven't had a good secondary since 2019. Honestly, so that's been disappointing. And also, I'm gonna say it again. C.J. Stroud, he's a great kid, great leader. He's everything that you would want in terms of the face of your franchise, but in terms of his actual game, um, I just have questions about him. The things people say about him being this top pick and possibly the first pick in the draft, I personally don't understand. Um, but kudos to Michigan, and kudos to Jim Harbaugh. Um, they outplayed us, they outcoached us, um, and it was just that simple. I don't have much more to add. And also, last thing with that, I should say, the Buckeyes are ranked way too high. Alabama should be fifth. I don't believe we should even be in the top six. I believe Tennessee should be sixth, and the Buckeyes should be seventh at best. Definitely in front of Clemson. I also think Clemson is too high, but that is the last thing that I'll say.
Yeah, man. Pretty interesting game. I watched it. Excuse me. I was gonna say I didn't watch last year's game. And I brought that up to say because I wanted you to correct me if I was wrong. I've been hearing a lot of people say you guys basically got punked like the last 2 years, and I kind of thought you guys did this past game. I'm not sure about last year, but this game in the second half, I felt like you guys got punked and let them pull away from you a little bit, brother. And it just, to be honest, it seemed like they wanted it a little bit more. Like,
They
man,
did.
their defensive guys on number 5, or was it 5 or number 0? That receiver they
Yeah.
converted into a DB. He made a
Mm-hmm.
few hell of a plays. The one where he broke up that touchdown to your tight end that had it in his hands, and the kid broke it up. Yeah, man, it just seemed like they were laying their bodies on the line for Coach Harbaugh, and they just wanted that win a little bit more. So definitely want to shout out Coach Harbaugh. Just having that tough-minded football team, nothing unusual there. That's the ethos, the backbone of all his football teams. For the most part, is usually tough-minded and can run the football. And that's what I would say. I was definitely shocked at their success in being able to run the football on you guys, especially without Blake Corum. And it was crazy because you got. I'm not sure if you stifled the run as much in the first to say if it was that or if they just wasn't
We
committed to the
did. They
run.
had 0 yards.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was you guys stuffing it or they just wasn't running it because I know McCarty had a pretty good first half, but that second half, man, they just unloaded on you guys. I think they ran for over 200 yards just in the second half, brother. That's
It
embarrassing.
wasn't even last year. It was bad because we got out physical and out hit. This year, it was just a scheme. They ran the same shit all the time, but there was no DB there to fill. Man, I don't have a lot to say. All it was just pathetic, and Ryan Day better fix it and figure it out because also some of the kids that were these 5-star prospects, it looks like I won't say that they're misses because I blame coaches for not developing kids in college. I don't blame kids. So that staff, they better figure it out because with all those 5-star guys and all those number one overall players that they got the last few years, they better get it. They better get it together because some of them have not panned out so far.
Yeah. And last thing on this game for me, I think I said it coming into the year, man. Same thing, some of the same stuff you just said about Stroud at quarterback. I told you when I cut on the tape this season, preseason, brother, I was like, he's definitely a talented kid, very accurate, measurables. Excuse me, looks there, tall kid, nice arm. Looked like the typical Ohio State quarterback, but I did say it just seemed like something was off or something was missing for me, and I'm still not sure what it was, but it kind of confirmed to me that he wasn't it after this game, and I'm not sure if it's either the intangibles. I know you say he's a great leader, so I'm not sure if it's that or if it's just the it factor. Like when it's down to crunch time or a play need to be made, he's just not the one to make it. So I'm just not sure. But
I also just think
he's
it's
definitely
physical. I don't think he's capable of making some of those
gotcha.
plays.
Yeah, he
Honestly.
definitely leaves something to be desired, and something feels missing with CJ Stroud. So I definitely wouldn't take him as a top pick, me personally. Let's move on. I don't really want to spend too much time here on Monday Night Football, regular blog game, but I did want to bring it up because I wanted to touch on Kenny Pickett. The Steelers go on the road to beat the Colts. That's a little bit in shambles right now with Jeff Saturday as the interim head coach. But I wanted to touch on this game just because I seen some stuff that I liked from Kenny Pickett, brother. I've seen that week in and week out from him, man. Some stuff that I like. Of course, he's a rookie. You're gonna see things that's not too good, but every time I watch him, I see everything I've seen in the preseason. As far as I see a guy that's capable that can play on this level. You know, not no elite, superb arm, but a good enough, decent arm, and he's actually a better athlete than I thought. I thought I didn't know he can really scramble like that and actually move. He can actually extend plays with his legs. They are a threat, and he can make some things happen, man. You know, like a poor man's Daniels Jones. He got a better arm than Daniel to me, but like mobility wise, uh, well, I'll say he has a more accurate arm. The Daniel has a more lively arm. I'll give him that for sure. But I like this kid, brother. I did, and I just believe if you tighten up and clean up the O line, that automatically will help Najee, right? And what helps Najee? A run game helps Pickett. A run game will help any young quarterback. So if you shore up the O line and possibly have to get rid of Canada, get a new offensive scheme in there, and you got the weapons, man. You already got the weapons, Tomlin and the crew. I just really think Tomlin might need to reevaluate his staff a little bit this offseason just to see do we got the right coaches and the right scheme here on the offensive side of the ball to get things done here with Kenny Pickett, because you got the athletes and you got some nice pieces on your team for the Steelers.
I don't have a lot to add. I mean, Kenny Pickett's a really solid player and solid prospect. What you see is what you get, and sometimes that's a really good thing. Um, he makes the necessary plays when it's there. He's not going to do a whole lot more than that, but right now, that's pretty much what they need. They really just need somebody to take what's there and not mess it up. Steelers' offensive line is still bottom 5. I don't like Matt. I don't like Matt Canada at all. So that's something that should definitely be reevaluated. But until then, it's going to be exciting to watch this kid grow.
Yeah, and I just believe they definitely need to change the offensive scheme for him, right? To just give him more of a shot, brother. But I'll say this. The situation, I'm not going to say he's Jimmy because Jimmy's been to a Super Bowl, and I'm not going to say the Steelers are set up exactly like the Niners, but the situation kind of is similar to me as far as everything is set up around him. Y'all just got to really clean up that O-line because the talent is there. I like Deontay Johnson. I like the tight end, Pat Freiermuth. I like Pickens, a very talented rookie. You and then Najee, they got weapons, brother. They just got to clean up some stuff around them and probably tighten up the scheme, and they can compete.
And build a defense too, which is
Yeah,
also
but like in the defense as well. But they got, like I said, they got players. Last thing on this game, Indy, man, shit show. Like you said a few weeks on the show, Matt Ryan, please start thinking about the second phase of your life. I will say was a little bit head scratching for me last night with so much of the early first, second down throws, especially to start the game when you got Jonathan Taylor and Matt Ryan was looking terrible to start the game. I think he started 2 for 12. Yeah, that's all I really got on the Colts, man. They're in shambles right now.
Not much more. Only thing that I'll add is kudos to them for always staying competitive, and yeah, that's basically it.
Got you. Let's talk about the Raiders, man. 2 back-to-back overtime walk-off victories. Entertaining games, but in both times for sure. I want to actually touch on Josh Jacobs though, brother, because he had a big day, man. Over 200 something yards, over 70 receiving yards, over 200 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Big payday. Looks like it's in line for the kid, man, the way he's been running so far this year. But I honestly wanted to know with him and another pillar in that organization, Derek Carr. Should the Raiders want them back, and should they bring them back? And same thing in reverse. Should the players, Jacobs and Carr, even want to be back next year?
I think yes on both fronts. Number one, I don't think anyone's going to pay Josh Jacobs big money on the open market. There's too many tales of running back contracts in this day and age just not panning out for teams that did not draft them. So that's number one. Carr, he should want to be back. Grass isn't always greener. He's been through so much with this team, and I do think that he and McDaniels can really do something really, really special next year. So he should definitely want to be back, and the Raiders should want them back. I've never understood this whole thing about some Raiders fans wanting Carr gone. My whole belief is unless you definitively have a guy that you believe / know is better, I mean, you don't get rid of Derek Carr does not grow on trees. So I don't, for some fans to say that, I don't get it. That's just me.
No, I agree, man. I'll say this. On Jacobs' front, I don't believe he should want to be back. Me personally, I believe, man, you get drafted by the Raiders, a shitty organization. He's probably like a late 90s baby, a 2000s baby. All your life, they've been terrible. All our adult lives, they've been pretty much terrible. The Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders. So I think he definitely just wants to be in a new, better situation, man. And I could see him. I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. You're right. It's a very deep running back free agency class this year coming up. But I was talking to somebody about just good destinations and teams he would fit nice on. And I was like, man, even the Chiefs. Like I know I just seen him pick up Melvin Gordon. I'm not a fan. I'm a fan of the Pacheco kid, the young rookie they got. But he fits with Andy. I watched Andy for years. He fits at Andy's scheme. I can see him in Andy Reid's scheme, Josh Jacobs. Like I just can see him in better situations than other places. I also still believe Jacobs is still running back by committee approach. I've seen Abdullah play a little bit this year. Of course, they bell cow Jacobs, but I think that was more so just to get the usage out of him this year because, it's a contract year for him. I doubt Jacobs had it in his plans to bring him back anyway. So that's kind of the reason why I feel like they've been, force feeding them the ball here and there. But if I'm Jacobs, I believe I will want to be in a new situation, better spot where I got a better chance of winning. If I'm Derek Carr, I believe on both fronts, from Carr's side and from the Raiders side, they should want to bring him back. For the Raiders side, because exactly what you said, right? Quarterbacks don't grow on trees. Top 12, top 10 to 15 talent definitely don't grow on trees. So if you definitively don't have a better replacement, I will not get rid of Derek Carr. But if I'm Derek Carr, I would actually want to stay, like you said, just because you want some type of consistency, man. This kid had like 6, 8 different offensive coordinators and head coaches throughout his NFL career with the Raiders. So you definitely would want some type of stability there. They say, in year 2 is a lot better in the system for McDaniels' system, just because it is so complicated and the playbook's very deep. So year 2, I think he'd look a lot better. If I'm Derek Carr, I definitely want to be back, and if I'm the Raiders, I definitely will want to bring him back.
Yeah, I don't have much else to add. I mean,
Yeah.
I've said my piece on it.
For sure. And the last time with the I don't, to be honest, the Raiders didn't pick up his 5th option. So that's another reason. If I'm Jacobs, I probably want to get out of there, man. You guys didn't pick me up. This is a losing culture organization since before I got here. I want to go somewhere and win. If I'm Jacobs, brother.
I would just be worried because most teams aren't going to pay for a running back in this day and age that they didn't draft. So I'd just be worried.
True, but shit, the Raiders not going to draft him top dollar. I think whatever the Raiders offer him, he could get on the open market, is what I'm saying. Because I doubt do you think McDaniels not going to give a running back top dollar, brother? Or no, I'm not, but we both agree they're not going to give him top dollar. What's the running back market, like $7 million a year? That's like elite, 7 to 9. I know Zeke make more, but like that, he's like a dying breed.
Like Derrick Henry's was like
12.
Like 12. So
12.
He's
I
not.
would give Jacobs 9. But even that's high.
He's in that 8 to 9 million range, I think.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on to the Niners, man, our local team. Don't really want to talk too much about the game. They won versus the Saints 13-0. But I more so wanted to talk and basically put the conversation, man, you had on wax from Sunday on the pod, man. Brother, the Niners have to be one of the most talented but weird, flawed teams I've just ever seen in my life, man. Like, I've never seen a team on the football field this talented. Like, Christian McCaffrey said it in the interview after the first game he played for the Niners. He said when he first walked into the huddle, his first game ever for the Niners, he said he looked around and felt like he was in the Pro Bowl with just so much talent. With so much talent around him, right? And when you just go back and look, man, throughout, forget Kyle's tenure, his record. Let's just look at this year. They got some weird, ugly losses. Times where they really struggle on offense with all that talent. Like, you only put up 13 on the Saints. I don't know, brother. What is it? What is it with the Niners, man? Like I said, they just, it's something that feels off with them, but they're superbly talented. What's going on?
One is injury. Like I told you, they still have guys out. And 2, it's just the way that they play. They're rarely going to blow out any teams just by their style. And I think their objective is just to do what's needed to win that day. They don't really care for style points. And also, when you have that many weapons, I think at this point it's just about getting guys healthy and then keeping them healthy for this time of year and going forward. Especially when you have been a team that has struggled with injuries and you're still struggling with it now. You still have guys out. It just is what it is with them the last few years. So I get your sentiment overall. They do feel like they've underachieved in like the big picture, but I do think there are legitimate reasons for that. I don't want to call them excuses, but there are actual reasons why they haven't fulfilled all of this potential and talent to its fullest, I think.
Yeah, I definitely gave you injuries a little bit this year, more so on the defensive side and throughout Kyle's tenure there with the Niners. But man, like, they still felt like excuses when you were running it down to me, brother. The losses they got this year, because like I know we brought it up the Bears game. It was a monsoon. I get that, right? But I would feel it more if the Niners was. I would understand that loss more if they were the Bills or if they was the Chiefs. Motherfucker, y'all supposed to be a tough-minded, grinded out on the ground football team. Y'all should have been able to. I'm saying they should have been able to compete and win that game in those environments.
Trent Williams is out. George Kittle was out. I mean, again, Trey Lance we can go on and on about that. I picked the Bears to win literally just because I said Justin Fields will make one throw that Trey Lance can't, and that's what happens basically.
Yeah.
You know, they had some guys on the defense out, and their top 2 running backs were out. So
Then you lose to the Broncos, but you say that was probably Jimmy's worst game of the year.
I mean, it was.
No, it was. Yeah.
And also, great thing about Jimmy the last 4 weeks, he's played really good football.
He has.
And not only clean, but he's played well too.
Yes, very well. He has.
He's played well. So that's the other thing. Jimmy roller coaster ride and all that. So again, there are reasons. I agree in the big picture. They feel like they haven't fulfilled all of this potential, but I do think their reasons versus some other teams' reasons are more so legitimate than others.
Let me ask you this, brother. With or without Jimmy at quarterback, Jimmy's either at quarterback or say he's not, and Kyle ends up getting his guy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
In the next 2 to 3 years, if the Niners don't win a Super Bowl, is this a failure? Because it's just too much talent to me on this roster for you guys not to get it done. Would Kyle Shanahan be considered a failure if he doesn't get one in the next 2-3 years? So really 2 years. So I'm including this season. Excuse me. Go ahead.
Well, are we counting them just like getting there and not in like?
No, you gotta win, bro, because he already got to one. He's already got to one. I'm talking about getting there and winning.
Well, I mean, if you lose to Mahomes, Josh Allen, or Burrow, I mean, and it's not like the Chiefs are slouches with their roster.
Hell, my Eagles is still unjustified to me, but shit, we got rid of a Super Bowl winning coach. So you telling me the Niners still should hold on to him even if he lost a tough matchup in the Super Bowl to Burrow, Mahomes, or Allen? Go 0-2. Do we not got the guy that can get us over the hump, or what?
I mean, you need the players to do that, and you need the guy
to go. We just said that roster. We just said how talented this roster is. You
need the guy at the helm to go toe to toe with 15 or 17 or number 9.
Got you. So all right. So I'm gonna ask you again. Let's say Jimmy's not the quarterback. Let's say Kyle got his guy, whatever that is, and let's say hypothetically, that guy wouldn't be able to be in comparison with Allen or Mahomes in 2 years. I understand
that. If he's a top 12-ish guy, I think that they
but if he could play, you think that's all I'm about to say. If he's a guy that could play, but you think if
I think that they get one.
Right.
I mean, as much as I love Mahomes, I mean, I have no proof, but I mean, if Kirk Cousins was his quarterback, I think they hold on to that 10-point lead.
All right, man. I got you. You got anything else on the Niners, brother?
No, but that Niners-Eagles NFC Championship game is going to be fun.
Man, hey, if we both get there for sure, that should be an interesting one. Let's move on, man, to another NFC team that's in a little bit of shambles right now. Disappointing season. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. What's Aaron Rodgers' future looking like in Green Bay to you, brother? And should Green Bay rock with love for the rest of the season?
His future is whatever he wants because of the way they structured his contract. They have zero control, so he can do whatever he wants. In terms of the rest of this year, I would want to see Jordan Love because what I saw in that game, I want to see what else he has.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
man. We talked about it a little bit, brother, after the game, and we seen some things, right? I know I seen some things that I really liked and thought looked a lot foreign day better out of Jordan Love in that short performance versus my Eagles compared to what I seen in the preseason. Like he looked a lot more decisive with his throws, in his reads, and looked a little Aaron Rodgers-esque, with the way he was flicking the ball left and right, So I wouldn't be opposed to that, especially with them basically, it's not all the way 100% mathematically eliminated, but they're basically eliminated. They're not.
They're done.
Yeah, they're done. Exactly. So with that being the case, I would go with the young guy, man. See what he got. see what you got going into next year. You got some young, talented receivers that should be here for the foreseeable future. And if Love is the guy, he's gonna have to play with these guys. So why not get game reps now? Meaningful game reps, actual live regular season games. Get those reps in now. Aaron Rodgers, yeah, like you said, brother, his future is really determined upon him because of the way the contract is structured. Let me flip the question like this to you that I gave you earlier with the Raiders and Carr. Should Green Bay want him back, and should he even want to be back, or should he look to take his services somewhere else?
He should retire, and they should not want him back.
Brother, you think Arod over the hill like that?
No, but he's not all in. I don't care how good you are. You're aging, and you're not all in. And just to be frank, he has shown his age. It's not Matt Ryan, because obviously he's way, way better than Matt Ryan ever was. But for him in his lofty standards, he has shown some age. And when you're not all in and you're doing that, that means it's time to go.
You got anything else on Aaron Rodgers, brother?
No, either be all in or go. Just that simple.
All right, man. Look, we're gonna do a new segment real quick, just because we're coming down to the fourth quarter of the football season, and we kind of want to talk about some who. Let's separate the real from the fake, right? So I'm gonna pull out and list out the division leaders and whatnot, like the top two teams from each division that looks like they're more than likely playoff teams, and we're gonna go through it, brother. Are they pretenders or are they contenders? Okay. So let's start. Let's start in the AFC East. We got Miami Dolphins. Pretenders or contenders?
Contenders.
You think they're contenders right now?
No, just period. That offense puts too much pressure on people. And their defense is full of playmakers. I know they're not as sound and they're not always playing up to their talent, but they got playmakers over there. I think they're actual contenders.
And that's exactly, yeah, you kind of hit the two reasons why I believe they're not contenders. One, quarter offense, yeah, dynamic, but still got a young rookie coach, and then you got a young quarterback that's still trying to figure it all out. Yeah, he's balling right now, but we're getting into that nitty-gritty late December or November, December football. You guys will have to be able to run the ball during that time. Elements is about to start getting a lot colder. You're a hot city team. Want to see how you can thrive in those cold elements. And then the defense, like you said, with the defense, definitely not playing as good or as sound as I thought they would. And after I seen the flashes that I seen to start the year, but like we said earlier, they're also dealing with some injuries. But I just believe they're a year away. I believe they're one of those young teams with the bubbling, rising talent. It's all there. Maybe missing a piece or two. I just believe they're a year away. So I'm going to go with pretenders for now. Of course, they'll be in the playoffs. They'll be right there. But when I say contender, I mean, to me, contender is like championship level. Like you should be able to at least make the conference championship. Like you got a legit chance to make the conference championship. And then from there, you're in the Final Four, Super Bowl or not.
I think they do. That's just me.
Got you. All right, what about the Buffalo Bills, brother? Pretenders or contenders?
I wanted to flip a coin, but I'll go contenders because I love Josh Allen.
Yeah, I gotta go contenders as well, just because I believe they're all in. The moves that you make with getting a Von Miller, and company. I just believe they went all in this year. Definitely not looking as well oiled and crisp the last few weeks as they were to start the year. But again, man, I don't know if they have an assistant coach of the year award, but I know Leslie Frazier should be in the running because it's hard to tell, but I gotta look at their schedule from this year. But it hasn't been many games where I looked at their defense cell. They lost a game because they're 3 games because of the defense, or the defense is just getting their ass ramrodded right now. And he's dealing with a bunch of injuries, and not just Jags, just another guy. He's dealing with major key losses to the defense, and that Bills defense for the most part is still they continue to turn in and out week in and week out good solid performances. So I'm gonna go with them being contenders.
Who's next?
AFC North, Baltimore Ravens. This team right here is pissing me off, brother.
Pretenders.
Yeah, man, I gotta go pretenders. Go ahead.
No, that's it. That defense that I kept saying is not it. They are not it. Secondary, their two corners are healthy again, and they're starting to look like themselves. Other than that, not about it. They still can't get pressure with 4. They have to blitz, and even when they blitz, they still cannot get pressure. And that's it.
Yeah, hey man, I'm not gonna go too deep there. I agree with everything. Like I said, I believe they're pretenders mainly because of the defense. Very disappointed in what I've seen from the Ravens so far this year because I was very high on them coming into the year and high on Lamar, and it's not really all on. It's not nearly nowhere on being all on Lamar's fault for some of their transgressions this season. Let's move on to another team in the division. Cincinnati Bengals, contenders or pretenders?
Contenders. That is the one team. I know I'm high on Miami, but that is the team where I'm like, that'll prevent us from seeing another Mahomes, Josh Allen playoff game.
Gotcha. I gotta go pretenders, brother, because I believe they're. Me personally, I don't believe they're as explosive and as talented as last year. For one, me personally, and then for two, I also don't believe. I believe the AFC is a little more loaded. Oh, excuse me. At the top this year, I can't see them being Kansas City this year, and I can't see them being the. Nah, I won't say that about the Bills because I've seen chink in the armor from the Bills, but I can see Miami being them. I can see Miami being the Bengals. Yeah. So I'm gonna go pretender, and because I'm still not a fan, I'm not sold on Zach Taylor, brother. To me, I still get the feeling with the Bengals is or it's Joe Burrow or bust to me.
It is, but that defense is elite, and when you have that guy at quarterback, you definitely have a chance.
You think their defense is elite?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, brother. I don't know what's up with you. Last 2 years, you've been high on their defense. I don't see that. Solid. They got solid defense.
They don't have names, but when you look across the board and what they do week in and week out, there's something else.
I don't know about elite though. That's a strong tag. Let's move on. AFC South. Tennessee Titans. Kind of in a weird space that they're in to me every year. Yeah, I was just about to say I can't even put it. Yeah, I'm not gonna say contender. I'm not actually even gonna label them. They're in the middle for me because they're the weird spot. Same thing it's been the last few years. Pretty talented. Has some guys at some key spots, but just
that's it.
Yeah, just leave some to be desired. That team from top to bottom. But if anything, you always just want to tip your hat to Variable, their head coach Mike Variable, because he always has them guys ready to play tough nose football. Let's move on.
Any other team in that division
at all? No, I'm already knowing. AFC West, man, really one team. Yeah, two, really one though. Kansas City, we both agree contenders, right? What about the Chargers? I won't say contender or pretenders with them, but can they make the playoffs, brother? Or you think Kansas City is the only team that's getting to the playoffs out that division?
It's an uphill battle. So if you ask me right now, with how banged up they are, I'll say no.
Got you. Yeah, they're real Herbert or bust. Haven't fixed their problems yet. So Chargers, you better reevaluate some things this offseason. Let's move over. NFC East, man. My Eagles, contenders or pretenders?
Contenders. I've been saying it all year.
Got you. Dallas Cowboys, contenders or pretenders?
Contenders, but I feel like they'll just do cowboy things. So, but still contenders.
Yeah, I'll be respectful because the defense has been balling its ass off this year. I got to say they're contenders, even though I believe they'll do cowboy things when the playoffs come and fold. Well, we both feel the same way about the Giants, right? Damn, the Commanders is 7-5. They right there. Let's move
Hey,
on. Yeah.
they're gonna pass the Giants.
Yeah, they might pass the Giants. Yeah, I can see that. Minnesota, contenders or pretenders? Pretenders to me.
Pretenders.
Yeah. Let me see. We're not really feeling the Bucks. Last team for me, to be honest, Niners, contenders or pretenders?
Contenders easily.
Easily. I got them too. All right, we'll finish up here. We got Robinhood, most fun to watch. Thursday night football preview, power rankings, a few other things. Guys, so we're gonna finish up here. We got last couple segments here for you. Let's start off here, brother, with most fun to watch. Who you got this weekend?
Well, this is my Robinhood also, and it's Trevor Lawrence. Um, he made some unbelievable throws, and he showed why he was the first overall pick. And he showed why you live with your young quarterback's growing pains. Similarly to Justin Fields and like the Bears sticking with him too, you go through those things so then you have what you had on Sunday. That was awesome to watch. And like I said a few weeks ago, I thought he and Justin Fields turned a corner. He really showed that.
Yeah, man, him and Dougie P are doing some nice things together, brother. Especially the last couple of weeks. You can see, is it me or does it just look like Dougie kind of simplified the game for him the last few weeks, right? Like he looks a lot more decisive with his throws.
I don't know if it's. I think that's more so Trevor now. He's just more comfortable. He's just seeing more, and he's just confident.
Tell him,
He's
man.
just letting it
Yeah,
go.
I loved that hire when they first got him, man. Because Dougie, you know when a guy can win with backup quarterbacks routinely, not just a one-off here and there. But when he can win with backup, man, you just know he's quarterback friendly, right? And he's gonna be able to
Yeah.
build a system around a guy to make him feel comfortable. Love my guy Dougie P, man. My most fun to watch was actually Josh Jacobs. Just a stud, man. I love the kid's game since he came out of Bama. Felt like he's been an underrated back the last few years. Was a little dinged up last year. First 2 years was pretty good under John Gruden, but I just love his game, man. Runs tough and hard behind his shoulder pads. Like I said earlier, 220 some yards, over 70 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, walk off touchdown in the overtime win. So that went Josh Jacobs. And then for my Robinhood, this one was kind of tough for me this week, brother. So I just kind of, because I've been beating their ass all year, them and their head coach. I went with the Raiders, man, as my Robinhood. The Raiders as a team for 2 nice back-to-back overtime walk-off wins, man. So I'm going to go with the Raiders and McDaniels. Show a little love since I've been beating their ass all year. Let's finish off here. A couple more. Let's start or let's go here, brother. Power rankings. Who you got? Pretty sure we probably got. I know I got the same exact 5, different order this week.
I have a different 5 actually. I have 4 of the same teams, but my 5th one's different. Chiefs, Eagles, 49ers, Dolphins, Bengals.
We literally have the top 3 the exact same. I got the Chiefs, Eagles, Niners. Then I went the Cowboys and I went the Bills. If we was doing right, which we usually do, go by this criteria, which is it's right now, right? We usually do our week to week power rankings for how it's looking for right now. The only reason why I kept the Bills in there is kind of what we talked about earlier. I still consider them a contender, right? I believe they'll be there in like that Final Four picture. So that's kind of why I kind of left them there, just and because injuries and subpar performance or regular blah performances here and there, and the 3 losses from Josh Allen. I just can't see that materializing down the stretch. So I still believe they're a top 5 football team, the Buffalo Bills, when they clean their act up. And you know what? While we're talking about the Bills, let's transition to a little bit of a Thursday night football preview coming up here, brother, in 2 days. They play the Patriots, man, and quietly but surely, this is a big game for the Bills because they need a division win and they need one bad. Who you got winning that game?
Honestly, I thought a lot about this. I'm going with the Bills, but it's going to be a lower scoring game. And I don't think it's going to be that pretty. I just think Josh Allen's just going to make a few plays that Mac Jones obviously can't make. And that'll be the difference.
Got the same exact feeling, brother. I could see this being like a 17-10, 21-17 ball game. I definitely believe it'll be a low, ugly ball game. And I believe I share those same thoughts that you have, mainly because I believe Bill, I just haven't seen it. Bill can't slow this kid down, man. You know, he's a different type of guy, Josh Allen, and I just can't see Bill in that defense stopping him. Not that defense. They're playing pretty solid football, especially as of late, New England's defense, but I can't see him stopping Josh Allen.
I feel like
Not
it was
unless
just,
Josh Allen stops himself.
yeah, I feel like it was just scramble with all hell breaks loose and he'll just make some crazy play. So, no.
Exactly. Last two real quick, brother, because we got a pretty interesting slate of games this weekend. Like I said to start, give me a top three matchups for this weekend, man.
I mean, this one's pretty easy for me. I want to see the Browns versus the Texans
Ooh.
because Mr. Watson is back.
I forgot
It's his
about that.
first game.
I definitely forgot about
And
that.
I don't care that he has not played football in almost 2 years. My preseason quarterback rankings, I still had him in the top 10 firmly. And like I keep saying, once he plays and he plays some games, he'll be probably back in the top five. I'm excited to see how they look. Mathematically, they aren't out of it, but I'm willing to say that they are. So it's going to be a really interesting game, especially his old team in his first game back. It's going to be a lot of emotion. Um, it's just, and I'm very interested to see just him playing football again. So that's the biggest thing for me. Other than that, um, honestly, honestly, it's gonna be the Bills. It's gonna be the Bills Patriots, and then the third game. I don't really know.
Ooh,
Honestly,
it's a
I
couple
really
good
don't
ones.
know for a third. Those are like my two that I absolutely have to see.
Yeah, I have to see that Thursday one. That definitely was going to be in my three, just because it's a divisional game, right? You know, those games are always usually a lot closer. And then, like I said a few minutes ago, I do still want to see that chess match between Bill and Josh Allen. So that's definitely one of mine. But my other two, brother, it's no question. Bengals and the Chiefs, definitely got to see that. And then my top one that maybe for the weekend, I'll probably have this on the big screen because the Chiefs and the Bengals play at the same time. The Miami Dolphins and the Niners, man. I got to see McDaniels versus uh or I got to see Kyle Shanahan versus his protege McDaniels, man. Like I got to see that one.
The only reason I don't say Chiefs Bengals is because I wanted to see if Joe Marchese is officially playing. Because I want to see these teams relatively healthy on like both fronts for that.
I think Chase will probably play for that game because I think it came down to the wire for him this past weekend. And I think they probably were holding him out for the Kansas City Chiefs.
No, I hope so. 'Cause that's gonna be a great game. And Trent McDuffie and Legarius Need on him and Higgins. That's gonna be very fun to watch. Honestly,
Facts. Last thing, brother. Then we'll both get up out of here, man. I definitely wanted to ask you, just look through the landscape for me real quick. Give me 2, 3 coaches that you possibly may have on the high seat right now.
I mean, this is low hanging fruit, and it's not all his fault. But obviously, Nathaniel Hackett. Um, I mean, I mean, he's an interim coach, but I guess it still kind of counts. And Steve Wilkes, and then Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, off the top of my head, I got to think Cliff for sure. I'm going to go Cliff and Bruce Staley. I know I'm probably forgetting somebody else, but I got to go Cliff and Bruce Staley, man, just because they both are in two situations, destinations that have talent. They're just not getting it done. So yeah, I think those are my top two coaches right now.
I think Brandon Staley will definitely buy himself an extra year because I do think they're going to finish above 500. I think they'll finish probably like 10 and 7.
Say they finish 10-7 and don't get in the playoffs, do you still bring him back? I'm not bringing him back if he doesn't make the playoffs. Me personally, I'm sorry. Because you're not about to waste this kid's prime years, brother. I just can't.
Unless you can get Sean Payton, I think it's better to have consistency for him than have his third head coach in like 3 years.
I will agree with that if it was an offensive guy, brother. This guy, Staley, is a defensive guy, and his defense stinks. I'm sorry. I will agree with that.
I get it, but like, dude's got to be healthy.
No, I got you. But I'm saying, like, it's not like you can't go out and find you an offensive a guy that can come in and turn, like you see with McDaniels in the Dolphins this year, right? Like we seen more so in recent years than before, but we seen new coaches and new quarterbacks be able to hit the ground running and look solid. I believe, like Staley go. Yeah, Sean Payton, of course, ideally, that'd be a great fit. Shit, a Lincoln Riley, I doubt he'd want to leave USC, but I'm just saying it's names. I know, I'm just saying it's all especially highly talented offensive names, but it's guys you can go out there and get. Shit, Pep, why not even look at Pep, man? Didn't Pep coach him his first year? Pep Hamilton?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he had him his first year, but just somebody. They need to go get an offensive guy. I know that for a fact. And I'm not feeling Staley if they don't make the playoffs, brother. That's just me simply.
I don't love him, but he has improved from last year to this year. So I don't know. We'll see. There's still a lot of season left, especially with that 17th game. So we'll see.
The defense hasn't improved for me. I will say his clock management a little bit, and calling the game a little bit has been better this year. I'll give him that. Game management, clock management. I'll give him that.
When you're arguably your best player on defense has missed half the year, and your big prize free agent signing, who a lot of people would have had as arguably a top 5 corner when he played, was pretty bad, and then 2 is out for the year. And again, they just need to get some big guys up front, and their linebacker with Kenneth Murray, their linebacker spot with Kenneth Murray, and it's not like their whole front 7, besides the edge guys, needs to be revamped. That's all I gotta say. Again,
but you agree though, we can't waste prime years of this kid. We just can't.
No, you can't. But it's just
you can find you a DC to fix that defense. You can't. You better go out there and find you an offensive guy that can mesh with this kid to get this.
It's just gonna be unfortunate because the AFC is just loaded.
That too.
There's always gonna be some elite guy that missed the postseason. Lamar, Deshaun, Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, Herbert.
Yeah.
Somebody and a lot of them they're in the same division. Like somebody at some point not going to make the playoffs, even though they finished like 10-7. So
that's a lot of firepower. All right, man. I think that's all we got for him, right, brother?
Yeah. I just want to add this one last thing. Russell Wilson, I want to keep adding this every week. This is going to be the biggest offseason of your entire life, dude. So I pray for you, brother.
And man, I didn't even know his fucking money doesn't even kick in till next year.
No, they're actually in the worst situation unless he turns it around somehow next year. Man. They're actually in the worst situation going forward.
All right, brother. Well, hey, appreciate you guys for listening. We'll have something out for you this weekend as well.
All right. Thank you, guys.
We play for keeps, Cuddy. You ain't heard about the Huddle fire with no with D-Lane. We tryna get it off the muscle. Walters caught the pick and ran it back without a tussle. Blow the whistle, coach is trying to get back to the huddle.
Welcome to the